Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video we're going through the Geelong versus Hawthorn game, in which Geelong came out pretty comfortable winners in the end by 51 points, and I was actually pretty happy that I had stuck in a lucky emergency on one of the guys, as well as the fact that another one of the guys did score pretty well in the end. So there will be some, I guess, in a way, questions on what to do in the next sort of week or two with a couple of these guys, given that one of them's actually performing all right down, well, in the middle now, and whether that warrants him getting or sort of swapping up to him or something like that, we'll have to wait and see on that one. And whether another guy, I guess, in the middle is going to be the best rookie to have on field, now that I think a lot of us are going to have rookies on field with the potential for Max Gawn to be out. That looks very, very likely, as well as the fact that I have still got one rookie on field. So I may never actually finish my side of this rate if players just keep going down. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this video. So the problem I think I keep on having, and this is just before we get into this video, is that a lot of the players seem to go on cycles of 2 or 3 weeks with a good score and then a bad score, or 2 or 3. Dylan Moore's currently in a really good streak at the moment. He's really found that the right way to play his role, because his role isn't exactly perfect for fantasy scoring, but he makes it really good on most weeks, which is a good thing. But yeah, back over to what I was sort of talking about in the intro. Tom Stewart could be one that pops up rapidly into plans here if he keeps on going. We'll see here if I just go over to Stewart. He's not in our midfielder, so I'm going to have to click this to all positions. Stewart here, 85 average for the year, 104 for the last 3, and you can see here that form is starting to pop up, and I do think that his role is very good. This is me looking at Luke Parker and if he can actually play next week, but we'll go over to Tom Stewart here, and we'll look at Tom Stewart here, and you'll see he's actually getting a little bit of midfield time here, as you can see, and 83%, 82%, and yeah, I think that it's an interesting one to see because he's got huge non-disposal work in him in the last couple of weeks, but I wonder if this is sustainable. I want to see one more week of this to say it is, because the role seems to be there. If we look here at just his heat map, that's a really good role, and if Geelong are going to make it back into finals, him scoring at 1.37 points per minute, that is off the charts. That is, like, the best scorers last year I think were 1.15, somewhere around there. 1.37 is just off the charts, and the 1.05. So yeah, he can score very, very well. We'll see. That was in his 133 in the back half when he did that, or 1.25, you know. So he is scoring very, very well. 1.32 for a 1.26. So yeah, he just scores phenomenally well, and a 1.46 when he went absolutely 40 touches, 16 marks. So that sort of, I think, proves that point there. Let me get back to that. So I think that proves the point there that Tom Stewart, if he has one more week of this where he's getting 8, 10 marks, but also 5 tackles a game, then I think this is very, very sustainable, and I would be wanting a buy-in for it, probably out of Jackson, who I will be keeping this week because he's going to be, 1, needed for Gawn, but 2, he's sort of now going to be the number 1 ruck for Freo, so it's kind of turned into a good scenario there. Sean Manor, 115. I wish I'd had him on field, but then also I'm really glad that I didn't have him on field, and then I had Humphreys, because then I missed out on the Rankin, which is going to be 4 weeks suspension, 3 or 4 weeks suspension, I suspect. So it's almost like having Manor on the emergency list, on the emergencies, is actually almost better for my team than having him off and on field, which is the craziest thing. Because I was pissed, I was really annoyed that I had him in the emergencies for when he got the 115, and I put out that poll saying, do I take it? A lot of you said, like 85, 90% said take it, but now it's almost turned out the better option to have him in the emergency list. Duncan, 107, Deconing, 106. This was another thing I flirted with for a fraction of a second. Do I go Deconing or something like that in defense, just to get almost quote-unquote another... I don't even think he's a primo scorer, but then again, that just falls straight under that trap of like P and Guy off a good L3. His L3, I think, is 91, 92. with a couple hundreds in there. But I think he just gets big bodied by a big ruckman, so I'm not going to go there. And I think that is just... Don't want to fall for that mistake. Cameron 102, he got off to an absolute flyer here. In the first 3 minutes, he had 21. So yeah, he was off to an absolute flyer, but he had 3 behinds there. If he'd kicked 3 goals, he would have been off to like 35 or whatever. But yeah, he just didn't get too much of the ball for the remaining bit of that half. And then in the third quarter, he went off again and ended up with 4 goals for. So he really could have had a bag of 6 or 7. Bose with an 82, and this is why you don't go for a guy just off the back of one performance. I think Bose is the biggest yo-yo here. Had a couple of sub games, I believe, as well as DMPs here, as well as only having 2 big scores. So yeah, I just wouldn't touch Bose at all. Blickards, Neal, Close, Humphreys. Humphreys was a real good one. I was absolutely annoyed because I had him on field, and you see here, had him on field for 0 touches of the ball in the first. Well, he might have touched the ball while he tackled one of the Hawthorn players, but didn't touch the ball, had a handball and a couple of kicks, and this was off the kickouts here, and I thought maybe there's something to it here. But then in the third quarter, he just went mark, kick, another mark with a kick, another handball, and then another +6 here, and I thought maybe there's something here, maybe he can scramble his way to like 60. And then there was a patch here where he just went off. In the space of, 2 minutes, he scored 27 points. And I remember texting my mate, like, I will actually bring up the text here I'm not going to show it on screen, obviously, but I'll bring up the text just to read out what it says, what I said specifically. Let's bring it up here quickly. Where is it? So yeah, Humphreys now on 27, then it was about Peatling being sub. Humphreys up to 55, getting up there, up to 70, and then 35 in the last quarter. And then he went and scored another 7. So yeah, you just see that big run here in that last quarter. 65 for the second half really did save that for me. And it ended up being a real big positive, because I know that people will be like, oh yeah, you should have wanted like the 20 other points from like Rankin, but that's just another wasted trade almost in a way. And so yeah, I'd rather have the duo of Manor and Humphreys than Rankin, to be honest with you. Yeah, it just helped a lot better having a lot more cash as well to be able to spread it out, etc. Like I might be able to get Stewart at the bank at a pretty decent price and maybe the 710, 720s, but I also might be able to get Caleb Sarong if he gets back to his best, or even Andy Brayshaw or someone like that for very, very cheap. Going down here, Holmes with the 75. Sort of surprised he failed, to be honest. Lowest score of the year. Yeah, so he just failed for some other reason. Don't know exactly what happened there. Don't know whether they employed like a soft tag or something like that on him. I can't remember now that it is Monday and this was on the Saturday. Then we go over to Dempsey, Clark, Guthrie's, Myers. No one else here really matters too much. And then Hawthorn, we go to Dylan Moore with a 119. He was absolutely amazing. 32, 25, 36, 26. The annoying thing was, I think it might have been Dylan Moore that Humphreys tackled in the first quarter. And the good thing about it for me was that I just wanted it to flood to that matchup, because that was the matchup that they had for a predominant amount of the game. So I was just like, just kick it to Moore, kick it to Moore. It was almost like you wanted Geelong to win for my tip, but you also wanted Hawthorn to get a lot of inside 50s just so that it would go to that matchup. And yeah, I was really happy that Moore didn't get a free kick against Humphreys. That would have been annoying. Humphreys, I don't think, had a free kick in the whole game. Let me just double check. No free kicks against or for either of that matchup, so that was really positive. But Moore did his job. 2 goals, 26 touches, 4 marks, 6 tackles. He does a lot of his work non-disposal wise, and that's why he does get a lot of points. He got 24, 36, 49 of his 119 in non-disposals. Warple 104, he was pretty good as well. And yeah, just good in the first quarter. 26 touches, 4 marks, 7 tackles, and a goal as well. He's sneaking up for a goal every once in a while as well. Meek 94, McDonald, I thought this was a really good breakout game for him. I thought it was a lot more dominant as a lead-up forward from memory. I could be wrong on that, but I thought he definitely provided a lot more of an option coming out of the forward 50. And so 15, 35, 21, 19 splits, a 90 there from him. I hope they give him more midfield time, as I think he can be someone that could Even if it's just 20 to 30% per game, he could be someone that just goes in there and is just like runs and breaks lines in there. So I would be thinking about trying that. But then again, he is really good as a general half forward in itself. Impey, D'Ambrosio, Amond, Hardwick, Sharp, Will Day, 72. This is why something about it with Will Day, he's good, but he's not that upper echelon of guys that sort of, in fantasy. It is going to be, I don't know who to sort of align him to, but there are plenty of guys like that are just there or thereabouts, but never really, like, he's very much an impact player, very similar to like Chad Warner. And Chad Warner, we also talked about someone in the last game itself, Port Adelaide, Jason Horne-Francis, to a certain degree. These guys, they don't necessarily rack up too much of the ball, but they, so I that's the thing with Will Day, and that's why as a pure midfielder, it just doesn't seem right with him for some reason. Mackenzie, Newcomb, Nash, Chol, Mitchell, Watson, Jiath, Lewis again, probably done. I don't know exactly what he's done, but it sounds like a knee injury. But that was, I last heard about that 24 hours ago, so probably had scans already, so probably that info's out of date. Morrison, Frost, Bruce, Weddle, and Gunston, that pretty much is the video there going through the Geelong win. And yeah, really happy the events that actually occurred in with Manor and Humphreys being on field, off field, etc., and how that sort of actually transpired to give me a lot of cash and no trade out, and less of a trade out worry with that. So yeah, pretty much that's the video, and I guess I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.